All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the NerdCorp Podcast. This is your one and only source for all things nerdy, whether it be video games, comic books, TV shows, whatever you need, we got your back. I am your host as always. My name is Matt Hedrick, and here with me is Chad Porto. How's it going?
Yo. So you don't know the full rundown, and I'm going to keep it that way because I want to surprise you as we go through this.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start with the first one. Jack Black has been cast as Claptrap in a Borderlands movie. Is this going to be a live action?
I want to say so. I would think you would make this live action because, I mean, most of the characters are not like cartoons or anything like that, like, or over exaggerations where you couldn't make them realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume he'd be the only one that would have some form of CGI animation to him.
If they were really fucking talented, they would turn this into a live action Claptrap with robotics and whatnot. That'd be fucking cool.
I dig the idea of Jack Black doing something video game related for a movie because he's kind of like Jack Black kind of has dipped his toes in the water of doing a lot of video game related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like his YouTube channel, he's focused on gaming to a degree. He's been a main voiceover in the Psychonauts games. He's also done Brutal Legend. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing in this industry to a degree.
So he joins a cast that includes Kate Blanchett. I'm not a fan. She'll play Lilith. I don't know if Lilith is a character in the game. I don't play the games. Kevin Hart will play Roland. I, again, don't know who Roland is. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie as well. And then Jack Black as well. Tanis is who Jamie Lee Curtis is playing. I like Jack Black. I don't really care about the rest of the cast so far. Like, whatever. They exist. That's cool. Have you played Borderlands? Are these accurate castings? I don't know.
I have played the only Borderlands I've actually played. I played two of them. I played the first one, and I've played like the little spin-off adventure thing Telltale did. They didn't really focus on these characters though. It was more like B characters. But I do remember like Claptrap and stuff. That's the only one it's the only real standout to me. But as far as the casting goes, I know Jack Black and Kevin Hart have worked on movies together in the past, Jumanji movies. So it'd be interesting to see like them relate to each other in this movie. Maybe play off each other like how they did in Jumanji. That could be fun to watch.
Wait, who was Jack Black playing off of in Jumanji that's also in Borderlands?
Kevin Hart.
Oh, that's right, they were. So apparently Roland is a stoic soldier. Although, I think that's, isn't that who Kevin Hart is playing as Roland?
Roland is the character, I believe you said, yeah.
That's a bad cast right there. A stoic soldier is being played by a loudmouth comedian who's famous for being loud. Yeah, that's... So then we have Lilith.
It's weird. It's weird to hear them do that, to make that decision.
Lilith is a siren with magical powers. I guess that's fine. Mordecai, a hunter and sniper with a bird of prey. And Brick, a strongman brawler. I don't know where Jamie Lee Curtis's character is in this. So that's a thing. I guess, I'll wait until I pass judgment until it comes out. Although it's, if I'm right on this, I'm not liking who's producing it. Yeah, it's Avi Arad. I'm not a fan.
What has that person done?
He's done a bunch of comic book adaptations. Like back in the day, he did like Double Dragon, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, like the cartoons. But then, like around 2002-ish, 2003-ish, he kind of went bonkers. So that's when he was an executive producer, when he had some control. As a producer, you're more just the money man. After '02, this is what he's done: Daredevil, Hulk, Elektra, Man-Thing. Now, granted, I'm skipping over a few because he also did The Punisher, X2, Spider-Man 2, Blade Trinity. Actually, Blade Trinity's not good. I should have included that one. That one's bad. Although it's good bad. Fantastic Four, X-Men The Last Stand, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man 3, The Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, the Bratz movie, which was nominated for Golden Raspberry, The Incredible Hulk. He also did Iron Man. Ghost Rider, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is atrocious. Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Airbound, which is a Japanese anime remake. I think it's a remake. Tarzan and Jane, Ghost in the Shell, Spider-Man Homecoming, which was not good. Monsters, Venom, Into the Spider-Verse, which was good, but, you get one. Spider-Man Far From Home, which wasn't good. So, there's a lot of hit and misses with him as a producer, as an EP, and apparently he's going to be serving as... It's not listed on Wikipedia which one he's going to be serving as. So, this was a dude who was really good back in the day, but kind of lost his mojo. So
yeah, because it really sounds like a mixed bag of stuff. Like even from my side of it, there's movies there that are very hit or miss to me. Especially like the Hulk movies. Mm-hmm. I gotta be honest. Like the what was it? What's the Eric Bana one? That's 2003, right?
Yeah, that's just called Hulk.
Yeah, I'm like here or there with that one. The Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Man. It's like some are hits, some are misses. He's like, I don't know, man. I feel like very much there with you. I feel like he's probably just lost his way with this stuff, and that kind of makes me iffy on his take on Borderlands, especially the way you're talking about how one of the characters they are kind of seem like they miscast with a personality.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of. That's concerning.
Jack Black, they got nailed though for Claptrap. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the cast seems pretty good, and I don't know. Again, I am not going to throw this out right now. I will wait until I see a trailer or something.
Yeah,
but my expectations are not high right now. Just being honest. But my expectations are outlandishly high for the next topic that we're about to talk about because, well, actually, sorry, wrong story. My bad.
Oh boy.
I was on the wrong. Just out of order. Let me make sure that I included it in the photos because if I didn't, that would be. I didn't include it on the photos. Okay, so I wasn't jumping the gun on that one. So we will jump back to Jack Black for a second. There's going to be a Face-Off sequel. I can't wait for this nonsense.
I dug Face-Off, man. Face-Off was fun.
Face-Off was
fun and stupid.
So fun. My favorite part. So here's the general story. 220 pounds of what's his face? John Travolta is telling 170-pound Nick Cage that they're going to swap bodies or swap faces, and no one will be able to tell them apart. And I'm like, Nick Cage looks like a kicker. Travolta looks like a linebacker. The fuck? Whatever. Fair. Fine. So they switch faces because Nick Cage is the bad guy in the movie, and John Travolta is supposed to be the good guy in the movie. So Travolta becomes Cage, and Cage becomes Travolta. So Travolta Cage, the good guy, goes undercover as Nick Cage's character, which I think is Castor Troy. So he's trying to, figure out, the big evil plan and all the bad plans and all the stuff, what have you going on. And then you have Cage Travolta, the bad guy, who's now the FBI guy, and because he's undercover and there's no records of the face-off, everyone thinks that Travolta's Travolta, and it's going bad for everyone. Cage Travolta tries to nail his own not-owned daughter. Travolta Cage, the good guy, ends up, really liking all the bad guys because they're really nice to him. They're like, man, we'd never betray you. You're our brother. And then everyone dies, and there's giant shootouts, and the best fucking line in the movie is Travolta talking to an unconscious Nick Cage, going, "I'm gonna take," and then he kind of motions his hand, his face off, and I'm like, yes, they did the title of the movie in the movie. I love when they do that.
Go for the cheese, man. You gotta go for the cheese.
Oh, there's
It's
Nick
good
Cage
stuff.
dressed as a priest grabbing the ass of a choir person in like the opening credits of the film. The Cage is full hamminess in this movie because at one point he gets high just to prove that he's actually Nick Cage. So that was adorable. This movie's dumb. And there's fucking flying doves in the middle of a gunfight because it's a John Woo film. Not being racist, not being hypercritical. I literally mean it's a John Woo film. So there's always flying doves in the middle of an action sequence.
Because it has to be for some damn
right?
reason.
Like with Michael Bay and everything happening at the golden hour, which is at the perfect time to shoot things or photograph things, I should say, because it's dusk. John Woo does birds. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, like who two better people could you have picked for a movie like this? Like the two most ridiculous people you could pick. Like Nicolas Cage just being absolutely out of his mind, and that's like always the perfect role for him to play.
So the problem is Nick Cage's character technically dies at the end of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you do this movie without bringing back Nick Cage and John Travolta in their late 50s. Like, don't. As the one song once said in the 80s about things in life that don't matter anymore, don't you forget about me. No, 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 no. Don't you.
So you feel like there's like a high chance of them not bringing back the main actors from the first movie
if
and
they don't
doing
bring
another
back,
ones?
If they don't bring back Cage and Travolta, I'm not watching this film.
The way you describe the end of the story, though, it would make it seem like it would be you'd have to go out on even farther reach to like bring him back in some way. Like, what would you do?
See,
you
that's
know?
the thing. You don't have to go out. Like, this movie's dumb. You cannot take the face off of a human being and their hair and put it onto another person. We've already reached peak stupidity. So don't try to do it in any type of, well, how do we lodge? Just say, we saved his face.
Like it's on ice or in a cooler.
Exactly. And then put it on someone else and be like, oh my God. And then even Matt, I'm not like Matt. I'm like 100 and I'm like 99.9% for serious when I say this. Have the face somehow take over the mannerisms and mind of the person it goes on. So it's not even just like the dude's face. Castor Troy comes back because the dude's wearing the face, so then like his hair follicles are now in his brain, and now it's really Castor Troy taking over the brain. So like you could take the face off,
my God.
but it's still Castor Troy. Like go big stupid with it. I don't
Dude,
want some logicalness with it. Just go stupid.
It's the sequel to The Mask I've always wanted.
It's the sequel to The Mask you never thought you needed, and yes, it needs to happen. Like I do. Like, seriously, I know there's a lot of people like, how do we bring Captain America into the 21st century and make it feel authentic? No, fuck that person. I want stupid Nick Cage air humping nonsense at 54 years old or whatever he is.
Right?
Like, I want him going, because he can't get a hot dog. Like, just stupid Cage. With Travolta going, it's unbelievable. And just like strutting his stuff at 60.
Yeah, it's about time we went the full other direction instead of trying to always be serious and have things make sense. Let's go ridiculous. Let's just make it something else.
Just go look up some of the photos from Face Off, and you'll know why this movie's great. There's a great scene that I actually do love. It's fantastic. So they've already committed their facial swaps. So in the movie, John Travolta is Sean Archer, Nicolas Cage is Castor Troy. At this point in the movie, Troy looks like Travolta and Archer looks like Cage. They're back-to-back on this monolith with one person on each side of it, and they turn around, and there's mirrors on each side of this. Maybe it's not a monolith. It's more like a building structure. Like it's holding up the roof, I think. So the mirrors are decorative. So they flip around, and they're staring at, or maybe it's just like a thing of mirror. Like it's like I think that's what it is. I don't think it's like I think it's just actually mirrors pressed against one another. So they flip around and they're looking at the mirror and they each know the other one's there. But Travolta's pointing at Travolta and Cage is pointing at Cage. Oh, I hit my headset. I'm so excited about this movie. So they point their guns at one another, and Travolta's seeing himself, and Cage is seeing himself. But it's a great kind of, tale of the story, because technically Cage is Travolta and Travolta is Cage in this scenario. So Troy is looking at Troy and Archer's looking at Archer, but Archer's actually looking at a reflection of himself at this point, which is Castor Troy. And Castor Troy's looking at a reflection of himself, which is actually Archer. So they're looking at themselves, but they're looking at their authentic selves, essentially. So it's kind of like a great, like, it's a great little, not authentic selves, they're authentic rivals. They're looking at who the other person is through the mirror. And it's a great shot. It's such a dumb movie, but there's so many amazing shots in this that are just so good. And man, the cast in the original was so good. Nick Cage, Joan Allen, Dominic Swain, John Carroll Lynch. You had CCH Pounder, who I am absolutely just the biggest fan of. Margaret Chow, Thomas Jane was in this. Oh, God, this movie's so good.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a badass cast, man.
Alessandro Nivola, which you may not know the name of, but he was in Jurassic Park 3. He was in... What else? He was in something else. What was he in? Jurassic Park 3, Carolina the Clinging, Sisters, Junebug. He was in Goal. Oh, oh yeah, that's right. He was the Spanish or British soccer player in Goal, like the rival of the main character. No one in the U.S. besides me has ever seen Goal. It's a movie about a kid from like a border town in Texas or California who loves soccer, gets picked up by like a premier. It's actually called the Premier League teams in England. And like everyone's just like, oh, you're just some American Mexican kid. No one fucking likes you. Go back to where you belong. And he's like, no, I'm really good. And he's like, prove it. And then he gets really good. And then they make a sequel. And then it's like, oh, I'm so good. I'm on top of the world. But now I've fallen and now I need to get good again. And they made 3 movies off that idea.
Damn.
Yeah, it's dumb. But the main character, one of the main characters, Alessandro Nivola, is the brother of Nicolas Cage in Face Off. So. Yes.
Nice.
So, anyway, so we still have more things to talk about. Unfortunately, we have to talk about something that's not good. Joss Whedon is apparently a giant scumbag, which actually isn't that new of a revelation. Mm-hmm. His own wife basically buried him like 2 or 3 years ago. And I never believed his phony baloney feminist bullshit. I just haven't. But the stories coming out are just repugnant. Apparently, the image we have on the screen is the most recent one. He bragged about making female writers cry during note sessions on scripts.
Oh, what a lovely person he is.
So I'm an editor. It's one of my jobs. One of my jobs is to sit down with people that write for me and critique their work. I've never made a single person cry because I don't feel like you need to be an asshole to be like, hey, we have, this is the structure for our site. If you need any help or have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't need to be a dick about shit. So, that's already, story number one. Charisma Carpenter, who played, I don't remember what the fuck her name was in the show. Cordelia, I think is what it was. In both Buffy and Angel. Apparently, he gave her, like, immense amount of shit for getting pregnant.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can find the story. Charisma Carpenter. I didn't spell Carpenter right. I need so much help spelling things. It's not even funny.
Carpenter of all things, too. Right?
I put an H. Shut the fuck up. I don't know, man. His name is Joss. People got some weird fucking names. That's all I'm saying. Let's see.
I like how you said it.
Yes. Let's see. Carpenter has stated before publicly that she believes she was written off of Angel in 2003 as retaliation because she became pregnant, her pregnancy was written in the show, if I remember correctly. She also said before that Whedon assured her she wasn't going to fire her when he put her character into a coma right before she was due to give birth. And that instead of finding out that she was fired from her producer on the show, she found out when the press called for comment. So she only found out she was fired when the reporters called to say, hey, you were fired, you have a comment. So her statement,
What the fuck?
yeah, her statement more recently, that was an old statement she made. Her newer statement says that Whedon berated her over her appearance. She was one of the older actresses on the show, so that may have had something to do with it. Because like at the time, like most of the actors and actresses were like around early 20s. She's 50 now. The show ended in 2002, so she would have been early 30s. So that may have been an issue. He reprimanded her for getting a tattoo. And listen, if you get a tattoo that's visual, like on your face, yeah, there's an issue with that if you're a filmmaker. Like, I need to sit you down in a chair for 3 hours now to cover that up. That's wasted money. But if you get it like on like your shoulder or like the back of your back, that's the same fucking thing. Or like on your foot, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Right? Like it's not going to cause an issue. Like there is. I know there's like the my body, my choice crowd who are just going to get mad at well, she should be allowed to do whatever she wants. When it comes to producing things, sometimes you have to work in unison with the people producing it. A good piece of kind of conversation in pro wrestling world, the WWE, they make action figures. And if they make an action figure of you, they want that action figure to best reflect who you are physically at the moment they make it. So they want you to maintain that look for at least a year because they want that figure to sell for 6 to 12 months. That means that it needs to look as authentic as possible. So if you get like a big ass fucking chest tattoo, well, now you just don't look like your action figure, and people are less likely to buy it because you don't look like that anymore. So you do have to have kind of a cognitive, awareness that when you do work in an industry where your looks matter, not saying that you need to look a certain way, but the way you present yourself matters. You have to be aware of that. So like if it was a tattoo that was a problem, I get it. But if it wasn't a problem, like if you don't need to spend a couple hours, putting makeup on in the makeup chair, which costs time and money, then what's the issue? So I don't know what the tattoo is. I'm just kind of giving you a for instance on how I would feel. But there are other things in this that uncalled for, completely uncalled for. Apparently, she was called fat when she was pregnant. Kind of what happens. You're growing a human being. You're gonna gain a little weight.
A person, get over it,
right?
dude.
You're gonna be a little overweight. It happens. Apparently, he became vindictive when, after refusing multiple phone calls from her, he learned of her pregnancy. Wait, hang on. Let me reread that. Calling her fat when she was pregnant and became vindictive when, after refusing multiple phone calls from her, he learned of her pregnancy. So she's claiming that he became vindictive after he learned about it. So, so here's some even more stuff. Carpenter says that upon learning that she was expecting a baby, Whedon asked her if she was going to keep it. Yikes! That's the part I was looking for.
Whoa,
I remember that.
Yeah, come on.
I'm pretty sure she was married at the time too. So like that's a thing.
That's uncalled for though, man.
Oh, it is. Like, but if you're I'm not defending him. This is a completely different for instance. If you're like a friend of someone and like they're like I don't know what to do, and you go, do you want to keep it? Like you're not trying to be a dick about it. You don't know where her headspace is. Like I could understand it, but that's not what this is. Like she's not 17 trying to gauge her future. She's 30.
She's planning a family, and obviously they were on their way to do so.
Right? So, like, there's a difference there, man. Like, you can't do that. She was married, I think, at the time. She was married in 2002. So I think this may have been right around the time of when she got pregnant. So kind of makes sense that she would want to have a baby with her husband. I'm just saying. Fucking stupid question. Are you going to keep it?
Shit fucking lines up, dude. Come on.
So it gets even worse, though. He accused her of sabotaging the show. The show's called Angel. Charisma Carpenter does not play Angel. Angel's an actual character, played by David Boreanaz. Pretty sure as long as he's not getting pregnant, you can do the show.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there's actually a show on Sci-Fi. Same premise, different fucking... Either it was Van Helsing or Winona Earp. They're both about a chick who fights mystic creatures. Forgive me if I don't know which one's which. One of them, I think, got pregnant in real life, and they just wrote it into the story, and she was kicking ass while pregnant, which, granted, no actual doctor would be like, oh, yeah, you should totally fight monsters, zombies, and or demonic Nazi demons. I don't know if that's the premise of either show. Just saying, I'm pretty sure a doctor wouldn't recommend you fighting demonic Nazi demons while pregnant. There's a bit of a risk factor there. But You can write into the show, is my point. Like, it's not impossible. She also adds that her doctor at the time recommended shortening her work hours. She was told to report to set at 1 a.m. and in the midst of the resilient actress. Is it resultant actress? I don't know what that word is. Oh, God damn it, Chad! You fucking have dyslexia. I'm almost positive of it, you moron. And in the midst of the resultant stress, dumbass, pointing to myself, she started to experience Braxton Hicks contractions, which are false labors. False labor pains, I think, is technically.
Ooh, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
It was clear to me the 1 a.m. call was retaliatory, she writes. Now, that's an assumption, but I mean, it's fair. I'm not going to sit here and debate her about this because I don't know. It gets worse, though. Amber Benson, who played a witch by the name of Tara, describes the set of Buffy as toxic. Michelle Trachtenberg, who joined the cast of 14, she was the twin sister in Eurotrip.
Yep, I remember her.
I loved Michelle Trachtenberg. Writes that now she's 35, which guts me because that means I'm 34. And can we stop aging?
God damn it. I'll be right back 1 second. I'm sorry. I got to do something real quick.
All right, you do that. I'll keep going. So Trachtenberg is 35, and she writes that she is, what he did was very bad. There's also apparently a story about how she, as a 14, 15-year-old, wasn't allowed to be left alone with Joss on set, which is... like, that's bad. That shows you something. Anthony Stewart Head, who played Buffy's mentor Giles, spoke on the British morning show on Thursday that he's gutted. I've been up most of the nights just running through my memories thinking, what did I miss? Sarah Michelle Gellar, who played Buffy, said, while I am proud to have my name associated with Buffy Summers, I don't want to be forever associated with Joss Whedon. I stand with all the survivors of abuse and proud of them for speaking out. So, yeah, this is a thing. Oh, and by the by, Joss Whedon has won awards for his feminism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm not even sugarcoat it. You're a prick.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like, how do you, of all things, a woman being pregnant and you're like, now granted you don't know everything like he exactly said to a degree because everything there's a different like take on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact alone that the possibility could be out there of him putting somebody down just for the sake of them being pregnant, it's like, what fucking planet are you on? That you couldn't expect somebody to have the possibility of wanting to start a family in their 30s. Come on, man. Most people do it beforehand. So what's their fucking problem?
He wrote the first two Avenger films.
Oh, yeah, great. Thanks for that.
Both those movies suck, in my opinion. The second one, though, had a scene in which Black Widow reveals that she voluntarily had her womb removed or had a hysterectomy to be a better assassin, because if you can't have kids, you don't feel the same pain. I don't know. I'm not a woman nor am I an assassin.
Damn, dude.
So some people believe that, like, listen, on one hand, it kind of, like, it really shows where she was as a character to where she is now. But on the other hand, coming from Joss Whedon, it seems really indicative to a mindset.
Yeah, like, you know, I was thinking the same thing. It almost makes me feel like he has some, like, agenda to push for this to not be a thing to exist in the shows or movies he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you have to accept the fact that that's a reality, because that shit's just going to happen. So if you don't want those people in your movies or TV shows, that's your problem. But that shit's real no matter whether you like to admit, believe it or not. So
he apparently wrote a script involving Wonder Woman where Wonder Woman would be forced to be humiliated for lengths at a time. Let's see.
How the fuck did he get the feminism award again?
Because he wrote a movie and a TV show about a blonde cheerleader from the valley who kills vampires.
Okay.
As disgusting as he is a human being, I will never forget the time Pee Wee Herman as a one-armed vampire has the most hammed up, set-eating death scene in the history of filmography. I will describe it to you because I don't feel like you understand what this is. So Pee Wee Herman.
No, I am not aware.
Gets his arm cut off by one of the members of 90210, I think. Again, I'm not being funny. I just don't. He actually just passed away. His son's a pro wrestler. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I feel like it's Brad something or something Brad. So he unfortunately just passed away. But in 91, he was the male love interest for Buffy Summers in the movie Buffy. So they cut the arm off the Pee Wee Herman vampire, and then eventually Buffy stabs him in the heart with the stake, which kills the vampire. So he stabs her, she stabs him, and he grabs the thing in his chest, and he starts going, ah, and he falls. And then he shoots right back up, still clutching the thing, going, ah, ooh, ee, and he falls against the wall, and he starts kicking the wall, like, ah, and he slides back down, and then he jumps up one more time, ah, and then he falls over and dies. It's the funniest shit, man.
It makes me think of the Family Guy thing where every time they scraped the knee or something, they stood there for like fucking 5 minutes and just kept screaming in pain. Like,
the overacting is great. There's also a TV series starring Elijah Dushku, who was in Buffy as a sub-character called The Dollhouse, which basically showcased a bunch of women having their minds erased all the time and putting them out in the field to do assassination stuff.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but it's him drawing up a TV show where he's getting to control women to do all of his little fucking weird shit. So,
like, this guy's had problems with relationships himself, for God's sake.
Well, he says he was raised by a single mother. Listen, I was raised by a single mother too, but you know what? That wasn't a joyful experience, so fuck off on that one.
Well, if that were true, man, and she imparted any values on you, if she was actually a decent mother, I'm talking about, of course, Joss here, you wouldn't be writing or doing half the shit you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is wrong with you, dude? Like, get your shit together, man. Like, you have to understand the world around you because you got it all fucking twisted.
So his ex-wife, Kai Cole, which might be the greatest non-Power Ranger name in the history of the world, claimed that Whedon was a hypocrite preaching feminist ideals, that he repeatedly cheated and lied to her throughout their 15-year marriage, and that he carried on multiple affairs with actresses who worked for him, even as he was acclaimed for his feminist Bonavides. Bonavides? We're throwing Latin at me. That's not healthy for anyone at this point in my night.
That along with that dyslexia, man, that shit's a killer.
I don't know if I have dyslexia, but like I wouldn't be fucking surprised, man. I might have a mild form of it. I'm not, because I always do it. Like I always be like, wait, what? That's not what that fucking says. And I gotta go back and reread it. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm just impatient. I don't know. Cole's letter continued. His ex-wife's letter continued to work. Letter continued the work that Dollhouse began making the uncomfortable subtext of Whedon show's text. Her allegations that Whedon carried on affairs with his actresses, that he wrote to Cole that when I was writing Buffy, I was surrounded by beautiful, needy, aggressive young women. I feel like needy and aggressive are antonyms on that one.
Oh, come on.
Right? Like I'm just saying, like, if they're aggressive, they're not usually needy because they're confident. Because you don't really see a lot of aggressive people who don't have confidence. I'm just right. Saying. Like sometimes I'm just saying. Recast,
those two definitely go hand in hand, you know.
Yeah, they don't go hand in hand. Is the point I'm making. Dollhouse made it tricky to think about them as joyful creative spaces. Cole's letter made it even harder. Now Carpenter's statement on top of Geller's, Benson's, and Trachtenberg's make it harder still. So I don't know where you went off to or how long you were gone for, but did you hear that Michelle Trachtenberg, the 14-year-old who came in to do the show as Buffy's sister, wasn't allowed to be left on set with him alone?
I did not know that until you just said that now. So.
Yeah. Now we don't know why.
So
we don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, I could honestly, a speculation came into my head, but I do not want to make the assumption if it is not true.
Right. But The assumption or is up in the air, but the truth is, allegedly, he wasn't allowed on set with her alone. I don't know, man.
Oof.
I've been around a lot of minors, and no one ever said, "Hey, I don't want you around my kid," because I'm not a problem. I'm not a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not a threat. Now, I have been told I don't want you around my dog alone, but that's only because I stole one or 4 people's dogs, and I have a reputation trying to steal a dog to take it home.
How can you not want to steal a dog? There's a lot of
Right?
cute dogs out there.
Right?
Man. Come on.
Oh my god! I've been watching dog videos on YouTube.
Those close up videos of dogs.
No, husky videos of dogs yelling at their owners because they don't want to do something.
Oh God.
Hey, get up! Just fucking DVing out. What are you doing, you diva? Stop. I love dogs. Although I don't feel like I have the time to have my own. I feel like that'd be difficult.
It's the same. It's a shame too because you think so highly of dogs. You know.
I love dogs. Dogs are so good. I feel like I would need one that's easily trainable because I just don't have the time to like train a husky. And huskies are very temperamental. But like I think I could train a golden retriever pretty easily. So I think I would do very well with a golden retriever. Plus, I don't really have that big of a backyard. And I hate seeing people like buy a dog and then like they have like the size of like 6 trash cans worth of a backyard. And like, that's not big enough, bitch. What are you doing? And then they never
dogs
walk
need to
them.
run, man.
Oh my god. So I'm kind of just in my current predicament. I know I can't have a dog, but like one day I'm gonna have a big old backyard. Even if my house is a tiny house, I'm gonna have a big old backyard. Just so the dog can spin around and zoom like a little beast. Love them. So cool. I might get a cat. I like cats. I don't love cats. I like cats. Like it's like I love pizza, but I'll settle for chicken breast and broccoli, right? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You know, I get it.
Mm.
All right. So yeah, Joss Whedon's a giant old scumbag.
Oh God, without question.
So let's talk about the Last of Us cast. By the by, the photo we're using is a photo from Boss Logic, who does like, a lot of great stuff on Twitter, like reimagining of posters and shit. His photo of The Last of Us is the Mandalorian with Baby Yoda.
That looks pretty fucking cool.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
Mwah. So I don't know if you know this, but they have announced who will star as Joel and Ellie.
Okay.
It's going to be. I had it somewhere. Where the fuck did I put it? It's going to be.
I'm gonna say it's obviously cast from these people from the show, as I'm assuming.
Yes, it's going to be Pedro Pascal, who plays the Mandalorian, and the girl is going to be from Game of Thrones, I think. Let me. Hang on. Bella Ramsey, that's who it is. Part of me, you know, like, again, this is this is the with the thing and the Borderlands. This is Borderlands all over again. I'm not gonna make any big sweeping declarations or anything like I can't believe they casted so and so. I don't know. Like I saw Bella Ramsey in one thing and she was like 9.
So yeah, there's not much you really have to go on right now.
Right. I will say she looks nothing like Ellie, but then again, Ellie was right. That's her name, Ellie, right? Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double check. I just want Joel and.
This is crazy considering this was one of your favorite games that you introduced me to try to get me obsessed with, and you can't remember the name.
I don't remember names of anyone. Like, how is that shocking? So it's Ellie, who looks dramatically like the former Ellen, goddamn it, Ellen Pierce? No, who the, hang on. Ellen Page, that's who it was. Now goes by Elliot Page. But Ellie looked like Ellen Page. And Bella Ramsey looks nothing like either. So I'm kind of sitting there like, we'll see. We'll see. You know, I don't think you need to get like dramatically close. So maybe she can pull it off.
I only have like a small vested interest in it anymore because I got to be real, like that those first few hours of the second game really burned the bridge for me with this series.
Oh yeah, no, the sequel's
Like,
terrible.
yeah, so like my interest in this is like, I might see it just for the sake of, to see if it's any good or not, but past that, I don't have some huge investment,
I think I've been misspeaking. This isn't a movie. This is a television show, if I remember correctly.
Well, no, it's still the same rule applies.
Yeah, but I think I said it was a movie. That's not right.
Okay.
So it's going to be a TV show for HBO. I like Pedro Pascal. He's great in everything he does. He was a great villain in Kingsman 2. He was a great character in Game of Thrones. They're both Game of Thrones alums. I completely forgot about that. Pedro Pascal played the Sand Snake, I think his name was, who fought the Mountain at the end of season 3 and then got his head exploded. You don't taunt.
Alrighty then.
You don't taunt. You just finish the job. And then Bella Ramsey played the last surviving name of her house in seasons like 6 and 7 and 8 or whatever the last 2 or 3 seasons were. And basically she was the only one who was like, listen, the fucking, the Snows, what? I don't remember their names. What the fuck were the family's names? Is Spratt? Nope, that's the wrong one. Starks. There it is. I figured it out. The Starks / Snows, because Jon Snow's a bastard. We're like, we don't. The rest of the kingdoms in that the northern nations, like, we don't like you guys. Y'all suck. And Bella Ramsey's like, hold your fucking tongues. I'm 10, and I'll cut them out, you bitches. And everyone's like, she's 10 and controlling a room full of dudes. And I'm sitting there like, no 10-year-old would ever have that confidence. Whatever. The last 2 or 3 seasons of that show went off the fucking rails. She was fine, though. Like, there's nothing about her performance that I can really critique on because I've never seen anything else she's in. I'm optimistic, at least for the first season of the show. If they start adapting the second game, I'm out.
Yeah, dude, done. Absolutely done. Do not even fucking go there.
I think the problem that people really gloss over when they talk about, like, in defense of the second game is the first game, like, the reason why this game series, at least the first one, was as beloved as it was is because it had a beautiful dynamic between Joel and Elliot. Like, that father-daughter, well, faux father-daughter relationship was so amazing, and people don't realize how important that is when you produce content to make sure that the relationship that hangs that brings you in needs to continue. Imagine doing Boy Meets World, but you kill off I forget his name, but Corey Matthews' father after the first season.
Yeah, no.
Now, you can do it for a show like Smallville because there's an expectation Paul Kent dies because Paul Kent always dies. It's like doing a Spider-Man movie and then going, oh, my God, I can't believe they killed Uncle Ben. What? Yeah. How new are you? Were you with Brandon Fraser in that bomb shelter in that movie? Did you just come out?
I actually remember that movie, dude.
Fucking, who was the mom in that? Because it was Christopher Walken and... I want to say it was the mom from Speed Racer.
Is it like what is her name?
Susan Sarandon?
Sissy Spacek or something?
Oh, is it Sissy Spacek?
I want to say.
What is that movie even called? Do you remember?
What was the movie you were talking about?
Yeah.
The Brendan Fraser movie in the bombshell that's called Blast from the Past.
Oh, I thought you were just being funny with, that's a blast from the past.
No, that's the actual name of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Sissy Spacek, Alicia Silverstone. Oh God, I forgot about her. Yeah, but basically, if you show up to a Smallville or Superman or Spider-Man entity, Pa Kent and Uncle Ben are going to die.
Yeah.
It's an expectation. It's just how are they going to die? That's what you're hanging on. But the second game kills off Joel, which kills off the dynamic people were invested in. I know
they kill him off, but they killed him off in a stupid way too.
Yeah,
which just made it worse.
Stupid and early. And I know a lot of people are like, but no one cares about the romance angles. No one cares about the friendship angles. No one cares about the war angles when you introduce the dynamic of father and daughter. If you introduce warring brothers, don't kill the brother off in the second episode. You need the dynamic.
Yeah, the whole series rode on their dynamic, and as soon as they ripped that away from me, I'm like, I'm done. Fuck this.
It's also why whenever you see like a popular character getting spun off into its own show, it fails because the dynamic that made that character stand out is gone. Imagine doing Boy Meets World. We're going to stick with the idea here because it's an easy and tangible one. Imagine if you spun out a Sean Hunter show.
Oh,
no more Corey.
Fail immediately.
No more Feeney. Just Sean Hunter. No one cares. But he's a pretty guy. How can it fail? Because we don't care. It's the camaraderie. Yeah. It's the relationship. It's the friendship. That's what we're here for. Corey and Sean. Sean and Corey. Corey, Sean, and Topanga. Yoko. I'm pretty sure that was actually said at one point about her. I gotta rewatch that show, man. I always skip the first season, though, because the first season's utter trash.
Yeah, the sweet spot is hitting from like season 3 on.
Yeah, but I feel like season 2, because season 2 I think introduces Turner, and they put him in high school even though they're like 12.
Yeah, that was always weird.
Look for the Union label. Is anyone following us, Mashawn? I don't know, Core. Seems like a bad idea.
Oh man!
All right, moving on. Hopefully the show's good. They should have called it the game of Last. No, the Last of Us Thrones. I'll figure it out. So the Real World is getting rebooted for Paramount Plus. That's not a big story. It's a reality TV show. Reality TV's a thing. Reality TV's been a thing since the Real World, actually. And if they were just saying we're doing the 34th season and it's going to be the Real World Montana or the Real World Honolulu or the Real World Van Nuys, I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
No, the real interesting one. The Real World Mariana Trench.
Alrighty then.
I'm Glorp. I'm a sea demon from the Mariana Trench, and I took this opportunity to join the Real World because I feel like we get a bad rap. The very first scene is him eating the face off of a girl. Fucking stay away from the Mariana Trench.
Would just let that be on fucking camera, right?
That's basically a bit from Resident Alien, which is fantastic. Go watch it. It's great.
I gotta see it.
The reason why the Real World coming back to Paramount Plus is hilarious news is because the Hollywood Reporter is claiming that the deal will feature it's actually a revival series called The Real World Homecoming New York, which will feature the original cast that aired on the show in 1992.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They should have called this Real World Midlife Crisis.
Oh, man. I could just fucking picture this shit now, man.
The Hollywood Reporter claims emphatically, and to be clear, I'm looking at the season 1 cast right now, that the entire cast Becky Blasband, Andrea Comeo, Heather B. Gardner, Julie Gentry, Norman Corpy, Eric Nyes, and Kevin Powell will all return. And you best believe Dems the entire cast of the original show. Do the math at home. So it's 2021. The first show aired in 1992. So it was probably filmed late 91, early 92 because it aired in May. Matt, can you do simple math?
Yes, I can. If you're doing 91, 2001, or 2021, that's 30 years.
It close enough. It's 29, 30, depending on when it was filmed.
Okay.
And when this was filmed. Because this may have been filmed in 2020. I don't know. That would be 28.
That's true, too.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been about 30 years. So let's do some more simple math. At the time of the show, Becky Blasband was 24. Math says she's at least 53.
Wow.
Andre Como, or Comey, I don't know, you Canadian fuck. Change your name if you want me to say it right.
Oh, man.
It was 23 at the time of the show. That means he's at least 51, 52.
Oh, God.
Heather Gardner was 20, so she's 49 at least. Julie Gentry was 19, so she's probably 48. Norman Corpy was 25, so he's 34. Not 34. He's 54. Eric Nyes was 20, so he might be 49 or 50. Kevin Powell was 26, so he's definitely 54 or 55. Yeah, that's all Middle Ages, yo.
The only thing I keep thinking of is putting them all in the house together, then they all have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Just a line out the door. They start mixing up heart pills.
What the fuck would their job be?
Kevin's
they all had to do like a group job.
I completely forgot about the group job. Oh my God. Kevin's the oldest, so you know he's going to be like, in my day, and then everyone's going to be like, Kevin, we were all in your day.
I want that joke to happen. I really do.
Matt, are you going to... So here's... All right, so you don't remember a lot of the show, but I'm sure you remember the general gist. We have to work a job. There's a bunch of alcohol. There's a bunch of sex, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I want that in 2021. I want a bunch of like pre-geriatrics breaking hips while they're trying to sleep with one another.
Forgetting where they put their Viagra.
I want one of them to be like angry because someone stole his Viagra. I want an entire episode of one of these guys going, and that's my second granddaughter. Her name's Tabitha, and that's my first grandson. His name is Robbie. That's my other grandchild. His name is Teflon. My daughter was going through a phase at the time. But that's the entire episode. It's just 48 minutes of him going, and that's my first dog. His name was Rufus, and that's my second dog. His name was Rufus 2. That's my third dog. His name was Rufus 5. We wanted to get different with the naming.
Dude, how do you have a late night party when everybody has to go to bed at like 9?
The late night party is at 6. That's how.
Oh, God, the early bird dinner. Oh, shit.
No, the early bird's dinner at 4. So they go to dinner. They're up at 4:30 to watch the local news. And then they go to their job at a crochet place. But there's still one dude who's got his hair, and he's like, yeah, man, I never grew up. I still look like I'm 25. And everyone's like, I thought he was 60, and he's 48. Live fast, die young. YOLO.
Like that generation passed you up years ago, pal.
Like the dude is like fucking 102 in dog years, but he's pretending to still be like a 24-year-old. Oh, I want that so badly. I might watch the shit out of this show.
They should have literally just had the subtitle, like you said, just midlife crisis.
It would have been more accurate.
That's fucking what it should have been. Hands down.
Do you see why my topics are so much better?
See, I understand why, but that doesn't always mean you got to be a dick about it too.
Yes, it does.
And gloat. Your ability to gloat is on an unprecedented level sometimes.
Thank you.
It's not enough. It's not enough that you're just right. You have to be right, and then give me 10 reasons why you're right.
Hey,
why?
Because I'm that good.
Dude, what the fuck?
Because I'm that good.
You're so good. You need 10 more reasons to understand why.
No, I'm so good. I need 10 reasons to explain to you why.
Or you're just looking to fill time to irritate me more, so you can feel better about yourself.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, I actually legit want to watch this now, just based on that, because the way, like, hearing about it before, I'm like, okay, yeah, Real World, another season, what do you fucking do? But, like, having the original cast, a bunch of middle-aged fucking people doing the Real World, that's the fucking show I've always wanted from this damn thing.
Right?
Just some weird, fucking ridiculous shit. Like, why do we say, fuck it, let's go Road Rules, too. Let's do it.
No, because then you have to deal with insurance.
Oh yeah, that's right, because of stunts. I forgot.
And then you have to worry about, like, can you license and insure a 57-year-old?
Yeah.
Can a mother of 4 who's 52 really do those fucking gymnastic stunts where you got to go from, like, one swinging bar to another? And can you insure that?
I can imagine like the dating shows from that too getting like the reboot. You ever remember that show Next, whatever it was
Oh
called? You
god,
ever
that
remember
show
that?
was awful. Like I watched the hell out of it, but it was awful. Just,
Can
just
you
because
imagine
like,
like the same premise with these people doing that too? Like, oh god.
well, like that show was so judgmental, and like there was like very rarely
Mm.
ever a like an instance where you felt bad for anyone, because usually like the girl would be like, "Ew, next," or the guy would be like, "No, next," and then they'd be like, "Whatever, I don't date losers anyway," or "Whatever, you're too short for me anyway," and I'm like, "Wow, you're all terrible people. I hope you all die in a car accident." Like you never
Wasn't
get
like the majority of that show a lose-lose no matter which way it went either way? Like anyways, because the amount of money you get is so negligible it doesn't even matter.
basically. Like you just end up looking like an asshole. So
America, the shows you come up with, it's amazing.
a lot of some of them aren't good. They're not good. Like Temptation Island. Hey, let's see if your significant other will cheat on you, and then we'll film you crying about it for national television.
Cause gold.
Right? But that I
Gold.
don't think that was a U.S. based show. That was a U.K. show, I think, originally.
Oh God.
No,
So you
not
actually
great.
are you actually gonna watch this or?
I might. It sounds so dumb and ludicrous that it might be entertaining, but I'm also really worried that they're going to talk about Popecia for an hour, and I'm not sitting through that.
Or actually show them like applying the hairspray shit, right?
Like the color in hair to make it look like you have more hair
Yeah.
than you do. Oh God. Oh no, thank you. All right, let's talk about the shit we've been watching. YouTube. What's been going on?
Not a whole lot this week. I gotta be honest. Like, not much on the highlight reel. I would have to say, I did actually end up finally watching A Man of the Jedi's worst movies of 2020. I found that entertaining. I only caught about half of their newest video yet, so I'm not really going to talk about that, the Sundance video. So I can't really form an opinion on that yet. Let's see. The two biggest ones I would have to say this week are, for me, are Friday Night Arcade when he talked about Jurassic Park: The Chaos Continues for the Super Nintendo and how he loves the movie franchise, but he wants this game to die in a burning lake of fire because of just how awfully it's designed and everything. Because the navigation is supposed to be a side-scrolling shooter, but yet it plays like an open world navigation, and the two just do not gel well together. But I'm starting to like him just as much as SNES Drunk because he does the same amount of time in his videos pretty much and can get to the point in that time. So watching like maybe a 5 to 10 minute thing as opposed to 20 minutes with someone who knows what they're doing is solid. And again, he brought up another solid one this week. Same with SNES Drunk. What Blues Brothers on Super Nintendo? I didn't even know that was a fucking thing for one thing.
Neither did I.
And yeah, it was the most generic thing. And the odd part about it is that he said you would think in a game like that the music would be the prevalent thing based on what the franchise is. Like they would make that the best part, but it turns out it's the most stock generic shit you'll ever listen to.
Yeah, it's not good.
And was he also talked about Doomsday Warrior, which strangely enough comes off the heels of Nintendo announcing it as part of their Switch Online thing of like their like Super Nintendo games for like the next month or something like that. And while everybody else that I ever watched on YouTube hated it, he was into it because he's reviewed now two of the games that were mentioned in that reveal trailer. So I'm kind of intrigued to actually go ahead and actually play some of these, but and he also makes it. There's also another joke: music in Doomsday off-putting for a fighting game. It makes no sense. Like it's so peaceful and cheery. You're like, what the fuck is this?
He wasn't very high on the game.
No, and I mean, if you saw the video, man, you can clearly see why it looks so generic and stock. Like
I bring that up because it sounded like you said he was pretty high on the game.
No, I was saying no. I was saying he wasn't too high on it. I was more or less saying he was high on the idea of the weirder games getting released to the Switch. Like a lot of the things he's talking about, like get released there because now he's saying that more people have a chance to play the things he's talking about, so the discussions can expand a little bit. You know what I mean? They're not as obscure things to find anymore, which is nice.
I would love
But
to take the characters from Doomsday Warrior and bring them into a different format. Because these are some, like, I love Grimlock, whatever the hell he is. I love New Form. That was cool. They got the 6-arm dude. He's pretty slick. You got some biker demon dude. He's cool. Like, I could do a lot of fun with these characters. You don't need to make them fighting games.
yeah, you got to do some kind of spin-off in there because whatever they tried to make here was it. I would not play it. It looks, especially for a fighter, it looks slow and clunky. And that's just two of the things that you can't do in a fighting game. And there was something else about there was no like blocking mechanic to actually block an attack too. And if there was one, it was some weird button combination. And I'm like, all right, you're already out on me on this one. But that one, I would honestly say that other than him, other than those two I just mentioned, there's really nothing here that was like a highlight for me this week. It was pretty barren this time. So short week for me.
Well, I got a few. Andy Hoops put out a video. If you're a fan of NBA, 10 times NBA superstars forced to trade. Those are again, if you're a fan of the basketball, hell of a series. Only in Japan Go did one. He actually did two that were pretty cool. He went and visited a school in Japan that teaches families, individuals, whoever, Japanese in 2 or 4 week sessions. And he talked to the teachers. He walked around the school. They went and visited the houses where the students stay at. So it's pretty cool, especially with the idea that they can teach you functional Japanese in 4 weeks. And I think
I would like to actually do that. I mean, sounds cool,
right? But like, it probably costs a lot of money because it's like you're looking at like $1,000 at least for a ticket to go to Japan. And then who knows how many hundreds of dollars the study sessions are. And then you got to be there for a month.
Yeah, so you have to do room and board, and you have to pay rent for that too. So
I think they do. I think part of their fee is the room and board because the houses you stay at are part of the package.
Okay.
But again, like that just kind of gives you an idea on how much it's going to cost, because I think they're renting these houses. Like the school's renting the houses. So.
Okay.
So obviously there's that. Let's see what else. New tiny home video is pretty cool. The loft had a little office in it where your feet kind of hang down off the edge, and I was like, that's cool. I can rock with that. Let's see what else. Lots of random ass spooky ooky videos were like, oh, I was in a snow cabin and then something outside. And I'm like, how many of you fuckers have a video like that this week? Like 9 of you? Same fucking story, basically. I was in a cabin. There's a monster outside. It's like snow. And I'm like, you all have the story. It's all different stories, but it's the same one. Whatever.
Lazy porting, it seems like, damn.
Not porting so much as just lazy authors who are all inspired by a snowstorm. I'm such a good writer. I'm inspired by the same thing everyone else is. Punk Rock NBA and Wrestling with Regret posted 2 really good videos. I really enjoyed them. Wrestling with Regret posted a review of WWF Armageddon from 2000. That was a fun little video. And then the Punk Rock NBA posted a video entitled "What Killed Emo?"
Alrighty then.
I'll give you a hint. People grew up.
I'm not. Oh man, the only thing I remember about emo is like Hot Topic.
I remember the music. The music was pretty good. Let's see. Anything else? I watched a bunch of things. Like I'm seeing a lot of little red bars underneath all these videos, but are any of them worth commenting on? That's the real question. I'm not okay. No, but I think that's about it. Only in Japan did one on a type of condiment. Is really cool. It's a citrus condiment, but I've never tried it myself, so I don't know if it's any good. But I kind of want to, because, like I said, I've been trying new foods over the last few weeks, and one of the things I keep diving into is, authentic Asian culture foods like Japanese and Chinese foods. But Japanese foods are so dependent on post-cooking flavoring and seasoning that if you don't have the seasons for the condiments for it, you miss out on the full flavor of what it is. So I want to try this condiment that he was talking about. It's grown in one part of Japan, and they make juice out of it. They make some type of like spread out of it. And I'm like, all right, I'll try it because I love me some citrus, but yeah, I can't find anyone who has it. So that's gonna be it's gonna be my adventure.
I've been dabbing in that kind of stuff too, like watching certain videos about like different like foods from Japan and stuff. Like, what is it, that show channel I watch, Emmy May? One thing she's focused a lot on is these things called bao, which is just Japanese for bun, and they're like types of like paste and stuff like that. And the most recent one she did was a recipe to actually make it look like an actual tangerine without it being a tangerine. And I thought that was kind of cool. And she's always doing experiments like that. And she said that's one big thing she grew up with as a kid, because it was always like the cheapest thing you could go for, because it's just a few simple ingredients to make. And I'm like, I'd really like to try it someday. And she said you can fill it with whatever you want. Like, you don't even have to do paste. You can do like a cream filling. It's whatever. It can be a dessert or anything like related to anything. And I like the idea of that it's like a tool for, any type of food you can use. So I might have to try it out sometime.
That's always one of the concerns. The idea of it. I like the idea.
The idea sounds good, but it's the actual implementation, and when you try it out, that's the real kicker. Like, is it actually going to resonate with you? Are you actually going to enjoy it?
It's definitely a thing. So we'll see. We'll see. Any other things you've been watching that you want to talk about?
I have watched 2 series on streaming this week. I decided to take the plunge, and I went on Disney Plus and I watched WandaVision. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I am into the premise. I like the idea of the whole sitcom, traveling through the generations of sitcoms and stuff like that. I like the fact that it's about a person who can't let go something that's happened to their significant other, and they're creating this world so that they don't have to deal with that. And the premise is intriguing, and the acting is generally pretty decent, at least for the most part. There's some hammy parts to it that I don't really like. But I have I'm afraid that this show will not stick the landing, because Marvel's done that to me in the past when I've gotten interested in something. Right at the end of it, they don't hit it home, and I lose the investment, And I feel like here I really hope that I don't lose it, because what they did here is highly intriguing, and I've been a big fan of sitcoms over the years too. So one of the fun things to play with was, what sitcom are they parodying this time, And I can kind of pinpoint it to each one they were doing. At least I have a general idea. Like, I think it went like it goes like 50s, 60s, 70s, and then it kind of went from like 80s, 90s to 2000s, And I think in order it goes Leave It to Beaver, Bewitched, Brady Bunch, and I'm torn between like Growing Pains and Family Ties for like the 80s, 90s thing, the way that one is shot. And then the straight 90s, 2000s one is right from Malcolm in the Middle. Like, it's completely parodying that. And like I said, I like the acting. I like the fact that they're being honest about the show and showcasing that even Vision himself finds what Wanda's doing to be wrong, and they actually get to that rather early instead of investing in it too late. And I want to see where it goes, but this is Marvel, and like I said, Marvel's just I have love-hate thing with them, and I want it to do well, but I have a feeling it might not,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping for good in the future for it. But the other one I watched was pretty much consistent throughout. I do have some hangups with it though. Is the War for Cybertron series on Netflix? And I didn't actually know this, but it was created by two of the people that I think they're formerly of Rooster Teeth now, because I know Bernie Burns has left Rooster Teeth to my knowledge. But they were co-executive producers on this series, him and Matt Hullum, I believe. And I'm enjoying it so far. I think Megatron is a very intimidating presence on the show, and rightfully so. But I feel like they kind of fucked up Optimus a little bit. I feel like they made him an idiot and kind of a wimp in most situations, and as a leader, it's just not something you want. And their portrayal just kind of it sucks, because there's just certain obvious decisions he needs to make that he should be making, and then when it doesn't happen, something really stupid comes in as a result, and you're like, God, dude, just one decision could have changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Megatron's telling him, like, dude, you can just win right now if you just leave me here. And what does Optimus do? I am noble. I must save you. No, dude, fuck that. Leave his ass. Leave his ass there and take care of your business, man. It'll save you a lot of time. But no, prolong it because of the show. Let's do that. And the second season is kind of rough around the edges. I didn't like it as much as the first, but I'm hoping this is, again, another thing where I'm hoping that the final aspect of it nails the landing. And I'm hopeful, but I don't know where it's going to go. And I love the animation in this, though, like straight up. It's like this unique CGI blend where it actually works fairly well. And the action is awesome. And a lot of the acting is it's top-notch stuff. So if anybody's got interest in a kind of a slightly darker tone, not as action-heavy take on Transformers, I would say check it out. I think it's worth checking out. But I think other than that, that is about it.
Well, then we will stop right there and call it a night. Be sure to check out the website, realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NerdCorp. We're on Instagram at realnerdcorp. We're on our personals at what, Matt?
You can follow me on Twitch at mnerdcorp and the same handle on Twitter.
You can find me on Twitter at ChadNerdCorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on Instagram at Chad's Photo What. The website's realnerdcorp.com. The Twitch account is twitch.tv/realnerdcorp. I think. YouTube is searching Real Nerd Corp. So be sure to follow us on there, and we'll tune in next Saturday around the same time for another episode. Matthew, take us home.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next week.